Hi, hello. Well, it's been a long time since I was doing my 300 horsepower Ninja H2 project. Now, the project is going to be back on. It is definitely back on. I left it for a while, partly because um, I had a lot of other work on as well, and we were getting to a point where we were getting frustrated because the engine builder is very competent engine builder. That's why he's got a business doing the same, and I didn't doubt any work that he was doing. So we kept checking for other stuff, and we kept wondering why it was so rattly. But we did find out after me getting back onto the project, rattling again. So I decided to take the engine out again, take it to the engine builder for them to have a look. And we found that the cam chain tensioner wasn't putting enough tension on the chain to tension it up. So we decided to try and see if we could try and get a manual one first over in the UK, and it wasn't that easy. And so then we decided to get another genuine one, but we found out that they actually superseded it with another part number, so it looks like they probably had issues with them. So if any of you out there have had rattly bikes for some unknown reason, get back onto Kawasaki and see if you have the same fault. Could be the cam chain tensioner. It wasn't loosening enough for it to skip a tooth or anything like that, so we were fine in that department. It's just enough to start rattling. So my engine's up there with him, but what this video is about is I'm going to be fitting a rear dual operated slave cylinder. So I will be able to operate it from my foot as well as from the thumb. There's a company that has been making them. The actual unit is called, if I can spell it right, Quinium. Qunuim. Weird name. But what I need to do, because of the holes from one, where they mount up, it's normally 50mm on these bikes. These are a lot smaller. So because of that, I'm having to make a aluminium bracket that will basically we can just modify it to make. And what I'll do is I'll show you. I'm going to be making a template now. I'm going to from cardboard to try and get the right shape, because the ideal thing is for it not to be on show. But luckily enough, it looks like most of the heel plate will hide what we have done from behind it. So no further ado, I'll show you what we're doing on template wise. I will mark it up with marker pen, cut it, shape it, and we'll go from there and see where we go. Right, you can see the cylinder. We have an in-feed for the rear thumb brake, and we have your normal feed in for your foot brake, going from your foot brake to the ABS unit. And obviously you press in for your foot brake on that side, and your fluid comes in from this side to press from your thumb brake, and then that goes to your ABS pump. So it will work with ABS on both, but as you can see, the holes here, those two are 50mm apart, those two are smaller, but unfortunately they only make one size. So I'm going to be making a bracket that goes behind it, and I will probably nut and bolt it with a nylock at the back. I was thinking of tapping the alley that I'm going to be using, but with it being aluminium and these are normally steel or cast, so I was just wondering with the pressure you put on it whether the aluminium over time the thread will get damaged. So I'm going to nut and nylock it. But I've got a piece of cardboard which I'll put behind it. I'll cut it down to size, and I will modify it of where we need it without showing any cardboard or any metal in any of the areas really, if possible. And that's what I'll do. Well, I've done a cardboard template. This is sort of how it's going to go. Probably need a little bit of trimming, but we've got nut and bolt through. Obviously the cardboard is going to be a lot thicker, and nut and bolt through on that, and then we have to make a plunger
I've got we've got the original 8mm. It's an 8mm like a U thingy to go around the brake lever. So what we need to do is make a plunger that fits in there, because they don't come with a plunger, and then we can bolt it up once we've made this bracket and see where we go from there. Obviously we'll trim a bit where you can see a bit of the bracket, but if you think about it, there's a foot plate, there's a heel plate that's going to come on here as well, so the heel plate will come up and cover most of the alley bracket. And there we go so far. Well, here we go for the first metal version. It needs a lot of trimming and a bit of tidying up, and also what I'm going to do is on the other side of where this sits, I'm going to mill it down probably by a minute amount, just so it lines up a little bit better with that. So that's what I'm going to do next. All tidying up will be done after, but all the holes line up, no problem at all. Tatty at the moment, and we need a bit of sanding and a bit of polishing and a bit of everything else really, and then we can hopefully be getting on with it. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to mill down that little bit at the back, and then we should be fine. Then we should be lined up, no problem. What I need to do is I just measured it. It's about 4 or 5 mil. So I will probably do 5 mil, and then we've got a little leeway either way. So there you go. I'll speak to you soon. Hi. Well, as you know, I was doing the bracket, but while I've got the bracket done, I thought I'd start on the plunger. Now, on this particular one, there's no plunger on these at all, so you have to sort of make or modify your own. So I have made a plunger. 8mm all the way down wouldn't reach the bottom, so I decided to turn down the head of an 8mm bolt, and then that goes all the way in, and then as you will see, pushes fine. And what I'll do, we've got obviously the 8mm lock nut, the nut that locks stop it turning and adjusting itself, and then we got the 8mm threaded like a U bracket, which goes onto the brake lever. So that's all them particularly done there. Just got to finish the bracket off, just tidy it up. It's all working and in situ, you know, working situ and all that. It's just a bit untidy, so I'm just going to tidy that up a bit, and I think we're all done on that. Here we go, it's all fitted now, as you can see. 2 bolts in there. I'm just going to put a nylock on that, and 2 nut and bolts there. That cylinder is there, and you can see that's free moving is what you want. You don't want it dragging on either side of that. Now, the first bracket I made, I did forget for the angle of the cylinder had to be more up like that. With me doing the bolts square on here, it brought it too far that way, which made it tight on this plunger. Now, as you can see, the plunger will not come out, and we can adjust that so there's no play in it as well. Just adjust the rod a bit further out from here, because it is pretty much all the way in. So I've got plenty of adjustments, so that can be, you know, at the moment you've got a little bit of play before it presses, but there you go, presses all the way in, no problem at all. We have, this is the cylinder, the brake line for the thumb brake, and this is the brake line that goes to the ABS pump. So now we don't have a brake fluid cylinder here or anymore. The one that is up on the thumb brake is the one that, you know, it does both really. So what I've got to do next is I've got to just trim off little bits of this that we don't need, round them off a bit, make it look a bit tidier, give it a bit of a sand down, possibly a polish up. I will show you now the where the thumb brake is, and how I've managed to fit the reservoir without it going to be catching any part of the fairing. We did do a couple of attempts on this, but what I've found now seems to be the best for it. So I'll show you that next, and then I will crack on with this and get this rounded, tidied up a bit more than what it is.
Well, here we are. We have the thumb brake here with this pipe has got to go down underneath. I have been messing about with it recently, and we may trim the length of this pipe, but this pipe will go straight down, round and into that. That is the reservoir that operate both. Tidy, nice and neatly tidied away, rather than what we were going to do is put a spacer here and have it next to it up here. But we did find when you did full lock to your left as you're sitting on it, so this reservoir went that way, it was just about to catch the fairing, but now it won't catch anywhere. I've also got a boost gauge for me supercharger as well on this machine. So the thumb brake, we have an angle, a slight angle here to bring the line that goes to the other side of where the key switch is, and down that other side of the frame. And obviously that is your line that goes down. This brake line is not quite long enough, so I have ordered one that's a little bit longer, so we've got a bit more scope for when we're turning left and right here. This one may just be long enough, but I just want it a little bit longer, just so I've got a bit of adjustments and stuff. So I'd say this is a Brembo style thumb brake. My words are all mixed up here. And we have Goodrich builder line brake lines with the Goodrich ends as well, and they work quite well. The other side of this thumb brake, you will see that screw there where my finger is makes it adjustable, so you can take that further in or further out, because originally these were designed only for like race bikes, so you didn't have all the switch gear, and the actual clip-ons were slightly shorter, so you didn't need the longer length. But now they've done this different style lever that connects onto it separately from the whole master cylinder, that actually you can adjust quite far out. And as you can see with this particular bike, we have Brembo clutch master cylinder and Brembo brake master cylinder, and I also am starting to fit I haven't fitted it yet properly. It is a front and rear camera, which is going to also act as possibly my mirrors, because I may well run this with the wings on the road. And we have a boost gauge, which is a mechanical boost gauge. There's no electronics on this at all, so that will just works off the air pressure, the boost pressure in the plenum. This switch is a switch for the cameras, so I can press that and lock a video. It also has like shock sensors in it, so if the bike went down, it will keep the recording of what happens. But this one is this: if you're on the road and you see something that happens, you can press that switch and you can record and keep it recorded without it over recording itself while you're possibly attending. So that switch is there, and we've got front and rear camera. The rear camera, I'll show you this on probably a different video. The rear camera is nicely tucked away. The front camera, I'm still looking at where I'm going to put it. So there we go. As you can see, the engine is out on this. We did have an issue with why it was rattling, and we couldn't understand after we just had the cams slightly adjusted by Kent cams. We found that, as I spoke in another video, it was the cam chain tensioner wasn't putting enough tension on it. So it's with the engine builder at the moment. the part for the tensioner is supposed to be coming in a few days time, and then he will put it together, check the timing, make sure it's all dialed in correctly, check anything else he needs to check, and then I will go and pick it up, and hopefully we can fit it, and then we can get back to this bike. This bike was just a shy under by 3 horsepower, or 300 brake horsepower at the rear wheel, and that's corrected horsepower. That's not like your inflated horsepower that you can get on some dynos. And that was in a dyno room that was actually 40 degrees C at the time. So with a slightly more reasonable temperature, it will make more before we've done any alterations as we're doing now. So hopefully it will be over the 300 magic 300 mark, and it'll be happy days. Anyway, I will stop this video and I'll get cracking on with the tidying up of that bracket, and then hopefully show you what it looks like once it's finished. Hi, well, the final product, or version 1, whatever you want to call it, is on, and if you look at it, I ended up putting a I've got 320 emery cloth that I put on a flat sander, and I put that in a vise upside down. I ended up trying to sand it down to 320 before I tried to polish it. Yeah, there's still a few marks on it. It's not perfect, but I am in a garage, a home garage. But as we see from, trying to find it, that is free moving. With that being free moving, that is how it should be. You don't want it dragging on anywhere like that. A little bit of adjustment can be done on this bolt itself. You can bring it out. See if I bring it out a bit, or get rid of the lock nut. If I try and bring that out a bit, it'll take up less play in there. And then you can lock it, nut it up, which I'll probably do. You can take the pin out and take the end off and do it better, easier with the end off, and do it that way. Now we have thumb brake there. I have ordered a few different ends here, one to try and bring it in a bit closer, one to possibly bring it in, and I might, sorry for the shaking, I might go around the back of there and then bring it up along here with a longer line, and then bring it along where the other ABS brake line is on a longer line. I'm not too sure yet until I get that, but this is the final product. This will be the end of this video, and then we have the going to the ABS. So there you go. It's a bracket to adapt a non 50mm. That's 50mm. That's more like probably 40mm. So you could use it on that. I've bolted it up without the heel plate for now to show you what it actually looks like. I will have a heel plate on there, which will bring it up and probably cover all that anyway. I am thinking of, because of racing in top speed, I want to get my knees down a bit, and which will then bring my head down a bit easier because of my belly more than anything. I'm thinking of making, instead of buying a set of rear sets, making out of alley again, my own little alley rear sets where I can bring the pegs further back, trying to avoid the exhaust on this side. The other side won't be much of a problem. It is the other side I really need doing, because of my prosthetic leg, you can't move it in certain positions to be able to get it down low enough. What happens is the knee bend on my prosthetic is only 120 degrees. On your normal leg, you're more like 140, 150 degrees. Now, because of that, I can't get me knee on my prosthetic bent enough to be able to get myself down lower on that side. So that then hampers my whole body. So that's what the plan is. I've got another screen to actually modify to put on the screen of the bike, so it's a bit more like a TT style one. Yeah, this one doesn't look awful, but it may help at the top speed. So that's showing the plan. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I'm getting tired now, as you can probably tell. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you can. It will help on other videos you
won't miss a video. And if you don't really want to watch it, just flick through it and watch what you want to watch. Also, I do have a website, which is www.team-leg-end.co.uk. On there, you will see all these videos will be up on there. There will be information for the championship rounds and who's leading and who's not leading. I'm also looking on doing some blogs on there. It'll be a bit of blog, a bit of everything. There's photos, videos, and everything from what I do in racing. So, and I will be putting videos up of some of my bikes as well, and some on bike camera action, stuff like that. That will be all going on there. So please subscribe. I am only a little home garage. I am not in a big massive workshop where you've got every mortal thing you need to do a job. And I do not get any funding from anyone. I do need sponsors for my racing, because everything is paid for by myself. And with it being an amputee, it makes things a little bit harder than normal. It's hard anyway, but it does make it a bit harder. And now my back's killing me. I am going to be going to bed, take some Oromorph, because I am in that much pain at the moment, and unfortunately it's like that from day to day. I don't know if you can appreciate what I'm going through and what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to be an inspiration to other people who are in similar positions, and try and see and help if they need help to be able to do the same sort of thing or something different even. I used to play darts. I used to be semi-pro at darts. I started been reserved for county a few times, and did the circuit, the BDO circuit. But due to shoulder pain, back pain and everything, I stopped that and then went to motorcycling, which my background, as some people may know already, I am 30 years trained and worked in the motor trade as a mechanic, mainly in the car industry. And I did subcontracted for AA, RAC, what used to be called Delta Rescue, LHT, all the wagon stuff as well. I worked in those various schemes, and I did work in a workshop that did a little bit of modification on race vehicles, but I wasn't there for long. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching. I'll stop rabbiting on and let you get back to what you're doing. Thank you very much. Goodbye.